evidence attached.
Yes.
No, I'll only be very brief on him to clarify. Yes. Mr. Witness, which political party were you running in with?
Democratic Party.
And which political party was the winner running with?
Which?
The political party, the person declared the winner, which was the political party that sponsored him? UDA. What is the nexus between, or what is the connection between UDA and CS Roko?
CS Roko is a state officer appointed by that government.
Which government?
The Kenya Kwanza government.
The Kenya Kwanza government. Which is the political party sponsoring the Kenya Kwanza government?
UDA.
UDA. You recall you indicated that there was a polling station called Gatibori where you said it was a hell of a polling station, correct?
Yes.
Why did you describe that polling station as a hell of a polling station?
Because according to my agents, if I may report what they said, because I was not in that polling station.
Yes.
Is that first there was a directive from the CS that counting should not start before he arrives.
Yes.
And that is what was said by the presiding officer.
Was that actuated? Was that directive implemented?
It was implemented.
Who implemented that directive?
The presiding officer.
The presiding officer.
Yes.
What is a presiding officer supposed to apply when it comes to the issues of an election?
In fact, it should be even the supervisor of that polling station.
I'm talking about two principles there, partiality and impartiality. What he or she supposed to apply?
It shouldn't be impartial.
Impartial. You spoke about assisted voters, correct?
Yeah.
What was the issue about the assisted voters in the election?
The number was too high.
The number was too high. Do you have specific polling stations where the assisted voters number was too high?
Like Gangara polling station.
Like Gangara polling station. What was the difference between Gangara, correct?
Yeah.
Who won in that particular polling station between you and the fourth respondent?
Myself.
You won. Which other polling station had more assisted voters?
Mbeere polling station. Mbeere.
Do you have any doubts in respect of the votes cast in that particular those two particular polling stations?
Yes, because the counting was being done while people had been sent out.
The count. What exactly do you mean, Mr. Witness?
What I'm saying is that at Mbeere polling station, the counting, when the counting was done, even one of the agents was dropped along the way. The agent who wanted to accompany the ballot boxes to the tallying center, he was left on the way.
And what was the difference of the votes between yourself and the fourth respondents in those particular polling stations? Have you narrated it in your petition?
Yes. It is there.
Would you point the court to that particular paragraph?
114 paragraph.
Who was assisting these voters?
There was a person who was assigned. They were coming outside with a person who was assigned to come and assist them. Even if you know how to write,
yes,
there was a person who was accompanying you so that you vote in his presence, so that they report somewhere. that indeed he has elected somebody, a certain candidate.
You understand, Mr. Witness, that before the elections, there is always an induction process that takes place, correct? Parties are taken through the whole process of the election, what we expect at the polling station, correct? Are you aware whether or not in a polling station there ought to be maintained a polls days diary?
Yes,
Where these incidences are supposed to be recorded, correct?
yes,
Are you aware whether or not these incidences were recorded in that polls days diary?
no.
If you want to know whether these incidences were recorded, what would you wish the court to do?
If they were not recorded, I think we can only do a recount of votes to ascertain the number of votes that were casted.
Number two, in respect to the voters' days diary, the polls days diary, did you bring them before the court, the polls days diary? Do you have them before the court? You don't have them, correct?
Yes,
Who is the custodians of those polls days diary?
the IBC.
The IBC. Let me rephrase the question again. How are you able to tell whether or not these incidences were recorded on the polls days diary? Utaweza kueleza vipi ya kwamba hizi matukio yaliweza kunakiliwa katika kile kitabu?
Can't tell.
You can't tell. Basi unakumbuka ulikuwa na ombi hapa mahakamani ambapo ulikuwa unaomba mahakama iweze kuchunguza kupitia njia ya scrutiny ya ile polls diary. Unakumbuka?
Yes.
Ile ombi bado uko nalo mpaka sasa hivi?
For now.
Je, katika hii maneno ya Kimskit unaweza kudhibitisha kwamba kana kwamba kila mtu aliweza kupitia katika ile Kimskit? Are you able to confirm whether all voters were verified and okayed by the Kimskit?
No.
If you want to confirm whether all voters were verified and okayed by the Kimskit, what would you wish the court to do for you?
At least a recount of votes so that anyone who passed through the Kim's kit vis-a-vis the votes in the box, they should match.
Have you made an application before this court for the scrutiny of the Kimskit?
Yes.
Would you still wish to maintain that prayer?
Yes.
For example, you spoke about the Kimskit in specific polling stations. You remember?
Yes.
What is your evidence about those particular Kimskit and in which polling station?
One is Gachagua Social Hall.
Gachagua Social Hall.
Yes.
What is your issue of the Kimskit in that particular polling station?
Because there were two persons who were allowed to vote and they were not cleared on the Kimskit.
There were two people who were allowed to vote and
Yes.
were not cleared by the Kimskit.
Yes.
Are you able to tell whether those are the only individuals who voted or there could be others who voted through that system?
There could have been others because in the absence of a manual register, anyone could have voted.
Is that therefore the reason why you would wish the court to order for the scrutiny of those particular polling stations?
Yes.
You recall you indicated that there were issues of the police, correct?
Yeah.
Who was in control of these police officers?
And
Is it the IBC or the IG? From whom were they taking command from?
police officers during that day could take command even from the state officers.
The state officers. Would you kindly specify the state officers in this respect?
There were the CS.
Which CS in particular did you witness or your agents witnessed commanding the police?
The CS Rook.
CS Rock. Were these police officers in a particular ward, concentrated in a particular ward, or were they widespread?
Widespread.
Would you give an approximate how many police officers were in each and every polling station, if you may remember?
There were those police officers in uniform, but then there were those police officers who are not in uniform.
Yes.
Most of police officers in uniform, only that they could act only on orders. But
It's okay.
My
I
lord,
want to abandon that line. I want to actually abandon it. Your objection will have no meaning, therefore. Did you confirm whether or not these incidences of violence were recorded in the Pulse Days diary?
they were not.
If you would wish to confirm whether they were recorded in the Pulse Days diary, what is the best way to do that issue? What's the best way of confirming whether or not they were recorded?
My lord, I thought the witness has said there was no recording.
Yes, the violence is not recorded in the music.
Yes.
Is that a situation that you'd wish to confirm right now, or you'd wish to have the scrutiny of the Pulse Days diary ordered by this court?
Yes.
And what was the difference between your votes and the winner's votes?
Around 460.
Sorry?
460.
460. 469.
Yeah.
Would I be correct to say that the margin is so small between the winner and yourself?
Yes, it is.
Do you have evidence or witnesses that you have lined up to come and confirm all these incidences of violence before this court?
Yes, yeah.
For example, in respect to the issue of Gatibori, where we have just watched a clip, have you lined up any witness to come and testify to that effect?
Yes, yeah.
Do you recall that the court directed that the materials be stocked within the prison of the court?
Yes.
My lord, with your kind permission, I don't think we have seen any clip on Getibori, so I think the question is misleading.
The clip, what clips have you watched? Is there a clip on the board? On the watch one?
No.
So then I rephrase my lord. The clip on the violence, the gentle with the man with the hand.
Not Getibori.
So that was Kanyambora, correct? I'm
That
sorry.
was Kaungu.
Kaungu.
Yes.
Thank you for the correction, my lord. The mayor for rephrase the question. Yes, my lord, and thank you. We'll enjoy with his, we'll have the benefit from his knowledge. May I rephrase that question? Which polling station was the clip? Does that clip relate to? The clip with the gentleman who says he was shot.
That was Kaungu.
Kaungu. Have you summoned or invited any witness to testify to that effect?
Yes, yeah.
Was that a one occasion, or the violence was widespread within that particular polling station?
Violence was widespread even in other polling stations.
What was so unique about this? Is there anything that was so unique about this violence?
The one at Kaungu,
No, the entire violence they've described.
yeah, the unique thing with this violence is that mostly this violence was caused by the state officers. Whenever state officers came in, there was violence.
There was violence.
Yes.
Did that violence, in your knowledge, affect the whole process of the elections, and if yes, how?
Yes, it would have affected because one, it was creating fear. Because those voters would want maybe to come and vote afterwards. Some would keep away. And again, number two, that violence could create room to stop votes.
As I finalize, geographically, do you come from the same region with the fourth respondent in terms of words?
No.
Which ward does he
He comes
hail
from
from?
Dawa, I come from Momenji.
He comes from?
Dawa ward,
Yes,
I come from Momenji.
he comes from Muminji. And how, in those two particular wards, how was violence manifested?
In fact, violence was mostly seen in Dawa ward and parts of Igorori
Parts of Ivrori.
and Dawa ward.
Who was the beneficiary of this violence?
The fourth respondent.
The fourth respondent. You have no further questions?
Yeah, just 2 or 3 questions. My name is Gachagua Dhuta. And Newton, I would just like to clarify a few things that I would like some clarity on. You have talked at length about state officers being involved in this election. And at some point, you mentioned a name in that context, CS Wahome. I didn't get anything more than that. Who is that?
CS Wahome, this is a report that I got from my agents, and which also we have witnesses.
Or do you have full names, or who is this person who we call CS Wahome?
Unless I refer, I don't know the full names.
But in the context of being a state officer, what state office does this person hold?
She's a cabinet secretary.
She's a cabinet secretary. You know her other name?
Unless I refer, Your Honor.
Okay. CS is a cabinet secretary called Wahome.
Wahome.
I don't believe we have two. You also mentioned another person called
Yes, Honorable Alice Wahome.
Honorable Alice Wahome.
Yes.
Okay.
Cabinet Secretary in charge of lands, public works, housing, and urban development.
Thank you. You also mentioned the member of parliament for Runyenjes. That's how you left it. Who is that?
That is Honorable Mushangi,
Do you know the two names, or
popularly known as Karemba.
Honorable Mushangi?
Information was getting it from my agents at Kaungi.
I'm just concerned about the names. So, is the member of parliament for Runyenjes called Karemba? Mushangi Karemba.
Mushangi Karemba.
You also talked about someone called Honorable Wamombi. Again, who is that?
Honorable Eric Wamombi, a member of the UNDA, and from Mbeere constituency.
Is a member of parliament for Mbeere constituency. Thank you. Did you also mention the governor? You mentioned the word governor.
Yeah, I mentioned the one governor.
The governor for which county?
And governor for M County.
Governor for Embu County.
Yeah.
And her name?
Honorable Cecil Mbeere.
Honorable Cecily Mbeere. And my question then arises from those 4 names that you have given. To the best of your knowledge, are they voters in Mbeere North constituency? Or is any one of them a voter in Mbeere North constituency?
We are not voters, say for Honorable.
Say 4.
Honorable. Honorable is a voter.
We are discussing 4 people. Roko is not one of them.
Very well, no, we are not.
And as a candidate and a person who has been in this constituency, were you made aware whether any of them was an official of IEBC during these elections?
No.
Would you know whether they were an agent of any of the candidates? Firstly, was any of them your agent?
They were not my agents, but they were agent of my opponent.
They were agents?
Of my opponent.
You're sure about that?
Yes, because they were campaigning for him.
Clarify that question. Are you asking about the formal agents?
Yes, yes.
Recognized by IEBC or agents who the people who are praising?
Yes, ma'am, and thank you so much for that, because I was to do a follow-up question. And Newton, I want to put it this way. There are those agents whose names who got appointment letters
Yes.
to be agents of a candidate or a party. Would you know whether any of them had such a letter for purposes of this by-election?
I don't think.
You don't think so? And as a candidate, were you ever informed of any role that these four individuals were to play in these by-elections?
Not at all.
I want to come to a polling station called Gitivuri polling station.
Yes.
You said there was chaos. I don't want to take you through that again. So Gitivuri is a primary school, right? Right?
Yeah.
Does it have more than one polling stations?
It's on double street.
Sorry?
Double street.
Is that?
Polling station 1 and 2.
It has two polling stations. You must be aware that counting and tallying is done per polling station.
Yes.
Is that what happened in this polling center?
No.
What happened?
When violence erupted, they tried an attempt to save the votes, and then they were abandoned somewhere in a car which was parked within the compound. And later, when they were brought back, they were counted in polling station number 2, all of them, supervised by the CS. Minus our agents.
You are brought to stream 2.
Yes.
So is it then your evidence that no counting took place in polling station number 1, what used to be called stream 1?
Yes.
And you also mentioned that CS Ruku was present during this incident?
Yes, he was.
Same question I put to you about the other persons. Was he an official in this election?
He wasn't.
Was he an agent of any candidate or party?
I don't think so.
You don't
Maybe
think so?
a vote.
Maybe a voter. And when this violence broke out, was there any voting that was taking place? Sorry. At the time this violence broke up, was it past the voting hours or was it during the voting hours?
It was past the 14. It was past the 14 hours. They were about to start the counting of votes.
Sorry?
They were about to start the counting of votes.
So there was no one on the queue?
No.
And in this particular polling station, was there any violence during the time the voting was taking place?
No.
And just the last one, just a follow-up one. And I'll ask about another polling station called Kaungu. You mentioned Kaungu, so that you don't confuse the two. Kaungu polling station.
Congo Police Station.
You said there was violence also
Yeah, there was violence
during voting or during counting?
during 14.
During voting.
Yes.
Thank you.
In fact, 14 was disrupted and then on to resume later.
It was disrupted. Finally, if you say that, and I want to use Gagara and maybe other instances that may have happened. You said that there are people who were not identified through KIMS. Did you see yourself, anybody voting without being identified through KIMS?
That was not Gangara.
It was what?
The issue of Gangara is that there was very high turnout of assistant voters.
Assisted voters. Okay.
That by 11 there was no forms. Gangara payments. But it was at Chicago Social Hall, where 2 persons were allowed to vote
Yes.
without being identified the kids.
Without being identified. The KIMS. Okay. Did you also say that there are people who were not eligible to vote in Mbeere North, but nonetheless they voted?
Yes, it could have happened because
Or it could have, not that you are aware.
it could have happened because a case in Mondo,
In Mondu,
yes,
Mondu polling station.
Mondo polling station. In Mondo polling station, there is a person who voted and he was not registered in Mondo, but somewhere in Kiambu.
A voter in Kiambu voted in Mondu.
You have evidence here.
Oh. You have the particulars of that person? Maybe you can assist the court by pointing out the paragraph in your affidavit. I hope my time has been stopped from running because the speed at which we trace the yeah.
You're still on the case.
Very
Time runs.
So maybe we can point to that. Paragraph 19. It is paragraph 19, my lord. So it is that one? Paragraph 19 of the supporting affidavit.
The one of Modu. Collins on it.
Yes, yes, that one.
At Modu, about at Modu Primary School.
Yes, is that the one, Newton Kariuki?
Yes.
Okay. So you say this is a voter registered in Kiambu?
This was not a local voter. And there's evidence here.
So, and
upon verification, Your Honor, is that Collins Muriuki does not appear in the register of voters in 2022.
the voter register that you have filed in court,
Yes.
and which IBC has also filed.
Yeah.
And now, a follow-up questions to that. Now, you say in the physical register, the big register which we have filed in court and IBC has filed, you won't find Collins there, right?
You would find Collins.
But we find him in the Kims. Do you know that?
Yeah.
So are you in a way suggesting that the Kims register and the... Very well, very well. Yeah. What do you say about that? He voted and he's not in the document that you filed or filed by IBC.
That shows that whatever was happening here could also happen somewhere else.
Very well. So there is the Gazette, which we started with, the Gazette notice that my learned Fred took you through, the one that called for the election and talked about the voter register that will be used to be the one for 2022, the one that was gazetted in 2022. Question is, was Collins' name gazetted in 2022?
He's 2022. In 2022, he was not a voter.
He was not a voter.
Yes. But he managed to vote in this election.
He joined the register subsequent to that.
I don't know what happened.
Are you aware of any Kenya Gazette or Gazette notice that regazetted the register after the addition?
No.
Thank you. Yeah, my line of Fred, I'm just to make it easier for the court. There are polling stations that you've really asked the court to scrutinize and check the records, schemes, and register. Would you be kind enough just to tell the court which in particular you're very concerned about? Polling centers. I think, my lord, what we did is we did them as polling centers. You might find them in the application. I think they are somewhere. Oh, they are paragraph 20. Just go to paragraph 20 of the supporting affidavit. And without doing much, maybe you can just refer the court to the polling station specified in paragraph 20. That is the case. My lord.
Yes, but 20. There are stations like Itira Primary School, Shekawa Primary School, Shiangara Primary School, Kabaji Primary School, Kune Primary School, St. Peter's Primary School, Kagera Primary School, Tori Primary School, Nyambora Primary School, Marango Primary School, Kiani Primary School, Karwari Primary School, Mbaraga Primary School, and Kiarambo Primary School. But Your Honor, in the absence of a manual register, everywhere in all the polling stations in Ghana during that election, which polling station should we say that this was done fair? In fact, it will be my plea that we recount the votes in all the polling stations so that we are able now to compare what passed through the kings vis-a-vis what is in the box.
My lord, you have a question to that?
No, and the one I noticed query is, because he's asking us, something query.
Just don't be confined to what the lawyers ask you like me. Just tell the court what your request is in a language that you can really explain. I know you are very eloquent, even in music.
Your Honor, yeah, and don't lie. I only lie when I'm proposing. Your Honor, Your Honor, my plea is that apart from these polling stations raised here on number 20, and bearing in mind that in our polling stations, we could also not verify what was happening because of absence of this. If the court finds it well, we can also look at those ones, but the most important ones have been raised here.
But you're asking the court to expand to all the stations.
Yes, the three issues.
And any justification for that expanded recount and scrutiny?
Yes, it's there.
It's there.
Yes, because as I have repeated here, is that there is no polling station in Mbeere North during that election where we had a manual register. You could not verify that.
So in essence, you're asking the court to get the logs for the KIMS and the votes, the actual votes. Very well, very well. I know Mr. Gachagua was just about to rise, but I was just summarizing. And my lord, that would be all.
But just to assist the court, to be specific about paragraph 20, so that my lord, we are clear. Mr. Witness, would you please specify in each and every polling center, under paragraph 20, why you would wish the court to order for recount and scrutiny? Let's go one by one. My name is Dave Wanjiru, my lord. You are there at paragraph 20. You have Itara Polling Primary School, correct? Itira,
Yeah.
correct? You have Itira polling center, correct?
Yeah,
How many polling stations are in that polling center?
that's true.
There are 2. Are you aggrieved by the results in the 2 polling stations?
What was happening at the Syria is massive bribery.
Massive voters
Right.
bribery. Did that affect the 2 polling stations domiciled therein?
Yes, I believe I would have done better.
Let's go to Siakago Primary School. Why are you aggrieved by the results in Siakago Primary Schools to the extent that you'd wish the court to recount them and retally them?
These reasons are almost the same, but one thing is that there was reported cases of people or faces which could not be identified as they were voting.
From whom did you get these reports from?
From our agents.
From your agents. How about Siangare Primary School? What is it that you're aggrieved by the results from that polling center?
Shiangara polling station, I think this will be said better by our witnesses.
You got a witness to speak to it?
Yes.
How about Kabachi Primary School Center? What is it that aggrieves you?
Again, at Kapache polling center is whereby you find some agents who are being called outside. Our agents were being called outside. And then you don't know why some of the agents were being called outside. When they later come, we hear there was stuffing of ballot papers.
Who was calling them?
They were being called by some of the supporters or competitors.
Is that therefore to mean that they would leave this polling center unmanned by your agents? May I rephrase, my lord? That is correct. Huh? What is it again that aggrieved you in that particular polling center?
At Kapache.
Yes, at Kabachi.
Kapache polling station is, again, as I said, most of these polling stations are in Dawa Ward.
Dawa Ward.
Dawa Ward.
And who? Oh, yes.
There was so many new faces that people would not be able to locate.
Where were these so many new faces? Were they in the polling center or were they outside the polling center?
They were even in the polling center.
Inside the polling center.
Well, these are not
Could you confirm? Was there any confirmation whether they were voters or just individuals coming to celebrate the process of the elections or to witness?
Can't check.
How do you? What is your evidence in respect of their presence? Is it that you are apprehensive?
Leading, my lord.
Pardon. Let's go to Kune Primary School. What is it that aggrieves you? Kune Primary School Polling Center.
Kune Primary School. Again, there was massive bribery.
Massive bribery. How about St. Peter Primary School Polling Center?
St. Peter's Primary School is in Mbeere.
Yes.
Here again, there was some violence.
Violence.
Yes.
Did you have agents in that particular polling center?
Yes.
Were there agents?
Yeah.
Were all the parties present in, or candidates represented by agents?
Yes.
Are you able to confirm, are you able to confirm whether or not there were actions that were taken in respect of that particular violence?
I don't think whether there was anything recorded on the part of IBC, but what happened here is that there was some violence again caused by the CS.
Which CS in particular? Sorry? CS Roko.
Yeah.
And again, who was the beneficiary of this particular violence, if you do know? The fourth respondent. How about Ndutori Primary School? What is it that aggrieves you as a petitioner?
Again, voter bribery.
Voters' bribery. How about Kanyombora Primary School polling center?
Kanyombora Polling Center again is another polling station whereby the CS was going to force himself in the compound with an unmarked bundle. And you see, people are already agreeing that there was no vehicle which was supposed to be provided to the polling space.
How about Marango Primary School?
Marango, I think this has been brought by our agents. There were agents
To testify to what?
testify to.
Have you invited them as witnesses?
Yes.
How about here? Kianire Primary School.
Yes, Kianire Primary School and Karwari Primary School and the Kiabama Primary School. The ones which are remaining here, I think will be better done by our agents.
Better than by agents. But have you annexed results in your petition emanating from these particular polling centers?
Yes, we are.
Would you point the court to that specific paragraph where these results are domiciled? The 100 paragraph?
114.
In all these polling centers, who was the winner? Who was declared the winner in these polling centers?
Some I won.
Yes, would you kindly specify the ones that you won?
Polling station.
Yes?
Kutoka polling station.
No, the one in respect to paragraph 20, the ones that you won in respect to paragraph 20 specifically. Restrict yourself to paragraph 20.
Paragraph 140.
My lord, paragraph 20.
No, there was reference with paragraph 114.
Okay, my lord.
And I'm trying to see the indication of the various candidates' votes.
They are the ones there. You wish the court to have an analysis of those results?
Sorry, what are they?
My lord, are those, that's paragraph
114.
140. That's
114.
114.
114.
114.
114.
114, my lord.
Yes.
Does those results relate to the polling centers that you have mentioned?
Yeah, there is. Some of them, it's not all of them.
Let's go to paragraph 8 of the petition.
Council.
Yes, my lord. I'm trying
I
to.
started making a reference to paragraph 114.
Yes, my lord.
Are you abandoning that reference?
I want to.
Cancel it and just.
No, I want to connect it, my lord. What is at paragraph 8 of the petition? Those are the. Am I correct to say that those are the results you have pleaded?
Yes, the paragraph 8 is about the number of votes each candidate got.
But I'm specific about you remember the paragraph 20 you were dealing with?
Yes.
The ones that have led you through the polling centers. Yes? My question was, in those particular polling centers that have taken you through, who won? You've said you both won, correct? No, paragraph 20.
They didn't prefer the number of votes because it's not.
Okay. Okay, let me abandon that line, my lord. Seems to be confusing the witness. So let me go to the next question. Do you know who was bribing this and who was being bribed? Who was being bribed? Ni nani alikuwa anahongwa?
Of course, yes.
Ni nani alikuwa anahongwa? Who was being bribed?
I fought so that they can vote in favor of for the respondent.
Do you know who was bribing? Who was responsible of this bribing? Or rather, who was responsible of this bribing?
There are some people who are placed strategically, those who are dishing out money.
Who had placed
Suppose
this?
a case, for example, all that will come with the witness.
Yes.
Case in point is Kianamo.
Kianamo?
Kianamo, where the person who was dishing out money was protected by the CS government.
Is that a polling center or a polling station?
It's a polling center.
It's a polling center. So, who had strategically positioned these witnesses?
You're bringing witnesses to this sort of thing.
Yes, my lord. Yes. Who had strategically positioned these people who are bribing voters?
For the respondent.
The fourth respondent. I'll ask you a legal question, and I believe that requires a yes or a no answer. Is bribery part and parcel of what ought to be done during an election?
No.
In your own assessment, therefore, would you say that this election was secure?
It wasn't.
Would you answer whether it was verifiable?
It wasn't.
Would you answer whether it was transparent?
It wasn't.
Would you answer whether it was accountable?
It wasn't.
Would you therefore confirm whether or not the elections was verifiable?
It wasn't.
Was it free from violence?
It wasn't.
Would you therefore say that the elections was free from intimidations?
It wasn't.
Did it meet the tenets of the Constitution?
I don't think so.
Thank you. So in the circumstances, therefore, what would you wish the court to do for you?
We are asking the court that to know the truth of what happened or what transpired. At least I come
Any other prayer that you'd wish the court to grant? You have prayers in your petitions, correct?
Yeah.
Would you wish the court to grant the prayers as sought? As prayed?
Yes.
Thank you.
Is he handing over for cross-examination?
Yes, my lord, the witness is heard over for cross-examination, my lord.
Cross-examination, we start with the first third.
So, Mr. Witness, you will be taken through questions rigorously. Some of them may be harassing, but the court will protect you. Take charge of yourself, Mr. Witness.
My Lord, I was kindly going to request that we take an early break for lunch. Because I can see it's almost 1 p.m. And, so that at the resumption after that, I'll start with cross-examination immediately instead of me
Unless
starting.
your proposal also says that we come back within an hour. Because our lunch break is an hour.
Yes, yes, my Lord, yes.
If you say we come back within an hour, that's fine.
Yes, yes, within an hour.
Is
Yes.
that okay? Did I do it?
That's fine.
Within an hour.
Yes, my lord.
And after we don't break the cross-examination,